Hi Cancer, welcome to your fortnightly forecast with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, these readings are for your sun, moon and ascendant sign. So whether you're a sun, moon or rising sign Cancerian, this is for you. And I always advise that you watch all three to get a clearer, more complete picture of how they're going to speak to you. Now, with that said, remember they are general readings. Not everything's going to resonate with everybody, and that is just fine. You should always use your own discernment. Now, these are purely tarot. There is no astrology in these, so watch them for whatever sign you resonate most with. And sometimes I always say to people as well, maybe sometimes don't watch them before the week, watch them after, so that you can see how it lines up with your week and which one actually does resonate more with you. With that said, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance, and I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise, and they help us all on our path to our highest vibrational good. So my lunar brothers and sisters, let me know in the comments, do you love it, do you loathe it? There's not going to be any more weeklies, right? We've already established that. I know a lot of you are very upset about that fact. I'm still getting emails and comments and stuff about it, all these weeks later. And it's lovely to know that they were so appreciated. So this is something kind of like halfway, all right? Like we're give a little, take a little. All right, so for your first triplet, what we're going to be looking at here are your actions and results. You've got the ten of wands. You've got the Wheel of Fortune with the Nine of Pentacles and the Four of Cups, right? So I love this. What this actually suggests to me is that over the course of this fortnight, right, so the next 2 weeks ahead, it looks like you're really, for some of you, you're setting something into motion that really has a pull on your heartstrings, right? And for a lot of you, I feel like this is your maybe taking what you feel is a bit of a drastic action, but the truth is it's something that you actually needed to do for quite some time. So whatever it is that you're addressing, whatever it is that you're setting into motion, you're definitely heading in the right direction. Now, one of the things that comes up with this as well, because what we're looking at is your actions and your results. So the results of you setting things into motion, you may have bitten off a little more than you can chew in some areas, and for some of you this is going to be a moment where it's like, you know what, I just have to kind of ride with what I've got. All right, so be honest with yourself, right? And don't hold back, don't pull any punches. The other thing with the Wheel of Fortune, especially coupled with the Nine of Pentacles, you're getting a solid understanding that the hard work that you're doing now is having a result. It's just taking maybe longer than you had thought. And in terms of the results that you're getting, maybe, just maybe, you kind of look at things and say, okay, I thought this was going to be easier. I thought it was going to be less of, let's say as an example, let's say you're launching a product. You launch the product, it completely sells out, and before you know it, you've got people demanding to have this thing that you're selling, which is a wonderful experience to have, right? But on the other side of it, it's like, holy crap, like the supply, should I say the demand has completely outstripped the supply, and you hadn't planned for that. So just know, you've got movement here, but it might come with a little bit of a, okay, need to course correct here. For your career and your communications, you have the Ace of Swords. Lovely. So potentially new work or new jobs, maybe even new duties for some of you. That Ace of Swords on the Wheel of Fortune, this could be new work or a new job that comes in, but it could just as equally be that you have to do some kind of commute for the next month over, in order to fulfill your duties. So there's something about your workplace potentially that is changing. Then you've got the Hierophant card, which is always bigger or larger institutions. So for those of you that are in between jobs or trying to change work at this moment in time, it does look like you're joining a new team, but it's much bigger, more established than whatever you were doing previously, which could be really nice. And then you've got the Six of Cups. So for some of you, this is you going back into an industry. So for those of you that are hunting for work or maybe already in jobs, this could be you going back to an industry or back to a way of doing the work that you do after some time, right? After a break that you've had, whether this is for other employment, maybe it was to have a baby, maybe it was to get better because of your health, whatever the case might be. So for those of you that are studying or in some form of academia, this fortnight, it does suggest that you are having talks with your peers or maybe with the institution itself that really reminds you why you got into the subject that you're studying. That Six of Cups is beautiful. It's happy memories, right? Past connections. But with that Hierophant card there, this is connections or connecting to the past through a bigger or a larger institution. Now, because you've got this Ace of Swords here, it suggests that this is something you already have a fair amount of knowledge with. So if you're studying, this next fortnight could see you really falling back in love with the work that you do through the conversations that you're having and the new responsibilities or information that you're gathering. For those of you that are employed by somebody else, as I said, there's a change to the workplace here. Maybe you're displaced for a certain period of time. It'll probably be about 4 to 6 weeks. For some of you, this is going to be a transition period where you're going into a new job. Love that, but it will be a bigger job, and right? And look, what did we have before as a message? This energy of maybe I've bitten off more than I can chew. This is kind of a case of, you just have to jump in and learn to swim while you're there. For those of you that are business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, people that work for themselves, this could be connections to bigger or larger institutions than your business that see you gaining new knowledge, new insight. It could also be that maybe they take some of the pressure off of whatever you're doing. So this, for some of you as well, I feel like this might be that you're about to split your focus. And yes, maybe you bite off more than you can chew, but the results are absolutely going to be worth it. For those of you that are retired and no longer working, I literally feel like for a lot of you, this might be that you're going to school, maybe deciding to take a course to study something that you've always wanted to learn or to brush up on your knowledge in a specific area of life. So loving this. For your love and relations, so you've got the Ten of Swords. Okay, so if you're in a relationship that you know has been rocky, that has been kind of on the thing, this week could bring arguments. It could bring heavy arguments at that. You've got this with the Page of Cups. I actually really like this. So for those of you that are partnered, married, or in long-term commitments, yes, there's a bust up or an argument here, but it's a heart-to-heart. This is going to clear the air between you and a significant other so that the relationship has a chance to flourish and thrive, right? Sometimes we need to do some weeding and some pruning in order for things to kind of go, to be at their best. Then you've got the Three of Swords. For a very select few of you, you may be hearing of a breakup this week. It doesn't necessarily have to be yours, but you may be hearing of a breakup or the end of a relationship that kind of gets you sort of in the feels, because it's like, wow, I never thought I would see, this person or these people break up or split. So this could be news of a split. It doesn't necessarily have to be yours. For those of you that are in relationships that you kind of think, this has been on the rocks for a while, there is a potential here. But as I said, because that Page of Cups is right in the middle and it's rooted on top of the Hierophant card, which is a marriage card, there is a part of me that feels like for some of you, you might be able to really pull it back from the brink, but it's going to take an honesty and a frankness of conversation that maybe even you with your emotional depths are not prepared for. You might hear some things during that sort of conversation and say, wow, I didn't realize you felt like I behave this way or I act this way at certain times. Like, it might be a very sobering conversation for both parties. For those of you that are single, it doesn't really look like a time to focus on love at the moment because there's so much going on with your career. We've seen this in the astrology, a lot, right? So don't worry about it. Love is coming for the Cancerians, okay? Like it's out there, it's on its way in. I genuinely believe that, so don't freak out, all right? Now, for your money and materials, you've got the Star card. So look at this, right? Building the future of your money and your resources is being built really nicely. You've got this with the Three of Wands. This is potentially international connections coming in. Very excited about that. And the Six of Wands. This is if you're going for a new job, if you're going for new business, if you're breaking into a new market, if there's something where you are fighting or battling to be the top spot, you will get it. This fortnight, look at this, right? Your finances are taking a massive upswing because of something that you have already set into motion, right? So right here at the beginning of the reading, you remember I said to you, this looks really nice, and I really stand by this. I genuinely feel the results of the things that you're setting into motion at this moment in time will yield really wonderful results. This is planning or financial moves that are being made now that really do have great results for your financial future. Now, when it comes to your physical health and vitality, for a lot of you, if you've been dealing with problems, challenges, or issues to do with your nervous system, to do with your maybe even your blood or anything like that, I'm not a doctor. I can't give you medical advice. That's not what this is. But if you've been working on or through anything of that nature, this fortnight could definitely bring you a breakthrough. You could find the right therapist, the right healer, the right counselor. There's light at the end of the tunnel when we see the star card. So when it comes to your health, maybe you've had to travel far and wide and ask a million different second opinions, but you see the results of it. This is where it's going to show up for you. The other thing as well, because the 3 of Wands with the 6 of Wands, this is a speculative endeavor, potentially one that you're launching from your very home, after all, you are a Cancerian, that could have really far-reaching ripples. Now, for a select few of you, this may be where you're booking flights, maybe you're planning holidays, maybe you are looking ahead to international travel that you're spending money for now, but not doing until until later in the year. For some of you as well, whatever you're planning at the moment, it seems to stretch right the way into September. So I'm intrigued by this. All right, so now we're going to look at your cross purposes, right? I want to see what is kind of in the way of you experiencing all of the good stuff, and where are some of these challenges that maybe have shown up in the reading coming from, right? Sometimes it's an in-house job. Sometimes it's, we just got to call a spade and say, listen, I am the cause of my own shit. I know that's certainly true for me at times, okay? So, and as many of you know, I am a lunar, you're my lunar brothers and sisters, because I have a Cancer moon. All right, so your cross purposes is the Lover's card. Indecision, right? Or the fact that there are too many options on the table. And really the truth of this kind of comes up. You might think, oh, well, I can do this and I can do this. We love to convince ourselves that we can do everything, that we can have everything. And the truth of the matter is, it's like when you go shopping. Yes, your basket can hold a certain amount of stuff, but it can't hold everything. It's like the same way I'm not getting a basket, I'm not getting a trolley, and you just load yourself up. And before you know it, you end up dropping something. Do less, have less, but have the quality rather than the quantity. And to cross that, in terms of the cross purposes, both of these cards in essence talk about balance. Now, here's where this gets really interesting. The Lover's card is Gemini. The Temperance card is Sagittarius, right? So these are direct opposites in the zodiac. And what this tells me is this fortnight, there is an element of you maybe trying to do too much or to have too much. Or maybe you're trying to keep it so balanced that it ends up putting you out of whack. Not everything is for every moment at every time. All right. So this fortnight, sorry. I'm so used to doing the weeklies, right? This fortnight, you have to be really honest with yourself about what you need to put down and what you can actually hold on to. All right. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Let me know in the comments. Do you love it? Do you loathe it? How does it speak to you and how does it work? Take care and I'll see you soon.